Hi everybody, today we have a stash builder video where we are going to create border ephemera from a part of a napkin that you might actually been throwing away. So these napkins are called hostess napkins. They are rectangular in shape. The front measures 4 1/4 by 7 3/4, and there is a 6 fold. So these ones give you a lot of focal images. So that's something that you should know and maybe look out for, because this size might fit better how you use your napkins on art journal pages and other decoupage projects. But these napkins also have a border. Now, this is Mickle Design Works brand. They have a lot of napkins lately. Their designers are creating these napkins with these borders. So you might do a search for them. So they have interesting borders that are color coordinated with the images that are on the napkin. Different patterns, different colors. Now, normally when I use napkins, I use them primarily for focal images. I take out elements from the napkin, 1 or 2 or 3, and combine them. For instance, here's an art journal page, a 7 by 10, and I will cut out this part of the napkin and use it. Or I might put it on a card. But in either case, do I think that I'm actually going to use the border that is on the napkin? So then I would be throwing it away. Well, I decided that I could put these to use in another way. So here's how I'm harvesting them. Since I've already decided that I'm not going to use the border with the napkin that they're with, I'm just going to cut off that part. Now I'm opening up the napkin. Here I'm using the paper cutter and just cutting it. Now sometimes the napkin isn't folded exactly perfectly, so you're going to have to adjust. But I'm just cutting that up to be used on a different page. Now this part of the napkin I'm going to use in the way that I typically use napkins, and I have a whole playlist of all sorts of napkin tutorials, ways of combining them with backgrounds, so you might want to check that out. So again, open up the napkin. This will give you better alignment and cutting. If you keep it closed and you cut it, you're more liable to not get it perfect. And then just cut it off. It really is that easy. Now stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to store these, and I'm going to show you how I plan on using them. So there's lots more in this video. Now you could use the paper cutter, or you could use a rotary cutter with a cutting mat and a metal ruler. Now if you like your rotary cutter, you may not want to rub it up against the metal ruler. People have been horrified when they watch me doing it. And you really want to put a lot of pressure on it, unlike what I'm doing here, so you get it all cut at once. Like that. They just put a lot of pressure. So again, you're opening up the napkin and you are cutting whatever. Here I'm giving a little bit extra to the yellow, because it can all be used as a border. So now I'm just going to showcase a few of the napkins that I got. Some of these came in the subscription box from Ninny's Napkins. Others came from Ninny's Napkins. I know that some of these I've seen on Amazon and other places, but don't worry. You can get borders from other size napkins too. This one, luncheon napkin, has lots of borders. This one, I can make a border from it. They have that whole pattern. So I'm cutting that. And then I'm just going to cut different parts of it, and that can be used as a border. So don't fret. These ones are also, some of these are cocktail napkins, some of these are 5-inch, 6.5 inches. They have interesting borders, so I am doing that. Now here's how I'm storing them. I'm using these baseball card dividers. I think I picked this up at Walmart. Your storage system has to be quick, easy. It should make your stash item easy to find, easy to clean up. And that's what this is. I can just tuck these in the pockets. They're going over it, but I don't mind that so much. You could fold them an extra one if you want, if that bothers you. If you have a lot of borders, you can do each page protector or each baseball card divider, or whatever the name is. You can have different colors on different pages if you want. And as this expands, I might end up having to do that. But it's very quick and easy to just tuck them in to the pockets, and away they go. Now, I have all my napkins are in binders. This one has backgrounds that I use for backgrounds. They're not focal images. So what I'm going to do is take that baseball card holder. They also fit ATCs if you want to store ATCs. I'm just going to put that in the front, and then it's easy to access. I know where it is. I can grab it out and start using it. So let's talk about how to use this. So what you're looking at here is an art journal that I made from gel prints. And you see there's white on each side because my gel plate is smaller than the paper. So instead of colorizing that, which I have done in the past, I'm going to use the borders to put on. So I'm just flipping through here and I'm looking, I've got the 2 pages with all my borders on it, and I'm looking for a border that goes with the colors or the patterns that are already in the gel print. And I like this dot pattern. The dots are a couple shades of green, and it seems to go fairly well. Now you'll notice this has the brand symbol on it, so you could go 2 ways. You could paint that out or cut around it. Now, when I cut out those napkins, that harvested the border parts, I have left the excess plies on it, and that stabilizes it. It makes it easier to store, to handle, and they're less likely to get damaged. I'm loving this red and yellow page, and oh, it's like this border was made for it. It has that same kind of gingham kind of look, plaid look, same colors. That's a winner combination. Oh, this one, well, that same border from that one napkin would work, but I have this burlap that was from that sunflower napkin. I think that will go well here. Now you can cut them down to size to fit. So I've opted to this dot border to make a narrower border by cutting it in half. And depending on the size of your page or your preference, you may want a smaller or a wider border. Now's when you should peel off the excess. Actually, you should cut it to size first, and you're going to see me do it the right way. I was kind of learning as I went. Now you'll notice if I glue this down now, there is paint under part of it. And I don't want to wreck the look of the napkin border. So what I'm going to do is glue the napkin border, the size part that I know I'm going to use, now that it's cut to whatever specifications I want, I'm going to glue it onto a piece of copy paper. Now this is recycled copy paper. There is text on the other side. So I'm just putting down a coat of fluid matte medium and then putting a coat on top to protect the border. Now, why wouldn't I just paint a border on? Well, when you put the napkin on, you get that texture. And because it's also glued on copy paper, it's lifted up. So it's giving a bit of a 3D effect, and it's really enhancing your page in a different way. And we have it. So here, instead of peeling off the excess plies, I'm measuring first, giving myself a little excess, and then only the piece that I'm going to use is going to get the backing taken off of. Those excess ones are going back into my storage system. So here I am peeling off the excess 2 plies and just gluing them down onto the copy paper. I am going to give you a demonstration about why it's important to glue it down first. If you're putting it onto a page that already has a background, you're going to see what happens if you don't do that. So I'm going to make sure that's completely dry, and now I'm going to cut it out. And I thought, using the paper cutter would make it faster, but that wasn't the case. And you're going to see me put the paper cutter aside and do it old school with just a pair of scissors. Way easier. Now, if you want, you could just do all your borders and glue them all down. I prefer not, because this way I'm only going to use what I know I'm using, and I can pick the thickness that I want. I don't want to spend extra time and have stuff in my stash that is so complete that it's going to limit me later or waste time. So having them cut, having them all in one place, wonderful. But I'm not going to glue them all on paper until I'm ready to actually use it on a page. That just keeps my options open. So here I'm cutting the one side that goes in and putting the other side on the outside so that when I cut it off, I just have to cut once. So here's this was actually a Christmas napkin called Finn, and it's tons of borders. I am going to love using that. I love the color scheme on this. So here I am using this burlap border, and I peel off the excess plies, and I'm thinking, you know what? I don't know that I need to glue it on paper. So I'm just going to glue it straight on, and you're going to see what happens. Now, if you like the effect you get, go ahead, do it. But I don't, so I'm going to come back and fix this. Now, I would glue the border directly on to a blank page and start with the border and then do the background around it. Then you wouldn't have to glue it onto copy paper because there will be nothing underneath it. Here I'm just cutting off all the excess. And these pages now have borders, coordinating borders that and after I cut them off, I'm just making sure that they are properly glued down. Inevitably, I have to go back. So here's that burlap border, and you can see a bit of a hot mess. So I backtrack, I glue some more down onto the copy paper, and I'm getting ready to cut it out and glue it into place, just like I did with the others. And then I get an idea to use a wavy ruler. Now you could freehand it or make your own waves. I'm going to make a wavy border. So I just draw that line in with my pencil. That ruler, by the way, I think I got at Dollar Tree years ago. I haven't seen them recently, but you never know. And I will just glue that down with matte gel. So be sure to come back to my channel because you're going to see me take these 3 pages in a Stash Buster video. I am going to finish them off. And you're going to see how wonderful these borders make your pages. Until next time, go get creative.